that equality of women and men is not only a goal to be achieved, but a truth about human nature to be acknowledged and embraced. The soul has no gender. The very essence of what makes us human is neither male nor female. Conceived in this way, equality goes beyond a tally of resources or a set of social norms. It reflects the nobility inherent in every human being. So with this conviction, the Office of Public Affairs of the Baha'is of India, along with numerous individuals, groups, and organizations over the past many decades, made great efforts in promoting the discourse on the equality of women and men. We are exploring with them how this principle can be translated into action. And this is being doing through a series of conversations and meetings with various social actors. So through these conversations, a distinct thread of this discourse has emerged, focusing on the role of men as promoters of the equality of the sexes. Naturally, these conversations have frequently revolved around the family as a fundamental social institution, where conceptions related to the role of women and men are learned and practiced.
I think dignity is very important. I think every human being carries the notion of dignity because dignity is a human right for every individual, and I think respecting people's dignity is more valuable than anything else. And I think the notion of honor, we must be careful how we craft notions of honor. Today, when girls are suffering violence within their homes, they're told not to speak about it because the honor of the family will be at stake. So I don't think it's right. I think the honor of the family rests on the values everybody in the family practice, not on the violation that the girl faces and if she speaks about it. I think that the family's honor is at stake if members of their family beat somebody or violate something or are aggressive towards another family member. So I think we need to look at those that are likely perpetrators rather than looking at the survivor or the victim in the family. And I think honor is built and created by all members of the family. And what is honor? I think we have to question the concept and the notion of honor. I do not believe that honor is given to anybody. I think honor is earned through respect, through practice, through equality, and through sharing, co-sharing. In families where there are girls, the girls are doing their last rites, so they're breaking the tradition, they're disrupting the patriarchal system. And I think that is also acceptable and welcome. And I think those are the kinds of shifts we need to make.
Every member of the family should have an equal share in decision making. That in itself will help us, change the situation and make sure that decision making in the family is a lot more equal and a lot more just. At a time when across the world we are seeing so much violence and conflict, at the end of the day, what's running the world is the regular person's hope that tomorrow will be better and we'll be able to go to a better world. I feel that is a very important, and it's very intangible, right? It's not something that is very tangible. You can't quantify hope, you can't quantify belief and belief systems. So I feel it's a fairly spiritual idea. I feel like the fact that we can hope also means that we can draw down from it. Hope requires that you see a better tomorrow. Hope requires that you sort of live in that small gap between what's good and what's bad. And I feel like that's what we need to draw down from and really build fresher avenues and concepts for gender equality in our institutions.
Also looking at the justice system from a lens which is holistic and which leads to reformation and transformation and healing rather than punishment would also be a way to stop intergenerational violence. I think both of them should know how to cook their own food. It's not a woman's job, it's not a man's job, but it's both their jobs, right? So I think teaching a boy right when he's 3 or 5, core of gender, equity, diversity, inclusion, the Jedi lens that I say, is very critical.
The other way in which a family can view itself is as really a unit that acts as a protagonist for social advancement. So for instance, the family now begins to see itself as this unit that can contribute towards, the progress of the community within which it's embedded. And so when that becomes the purpose, then everything else revolves around that purpose. So even the temperaments and the attitudes and the qualities of all the different members of the family, somehow they find their truest expression and they derive meaning through consultation. And then as the family consults and talks about what it must do in order to advance towards this purpose that they have now defined, they then begin to grow, they begin to advance along that path. And so they find different means through which they can release this sense of purpose in the field of action.
That we have come into this world with a higher purpose. It's there is a lot of learning for all of us to do, and unless we are able to learn, we will continue to be born and reborn in this. I'm just saying what I believe in, but if that was to be the belief, then we would all be much more open to different points of view, to diversity, to building a culture of listening and to being together. And I think the whole concept of whether we call it Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam or whether what was stated by one of the panelists about that oneness and equality cannot happen in isolation. So which means that there is the need to engage a community of people around you. What COVID has brought home to us is that we are all connected. It is impossible to imagine that I can take care of my needs and build an island of security and whatever may happen to the other. And that interconnection, if we can retain that understanding that my safety and security lies in your safety and security, then that would make us to be a better place to be. I am afraid that COVID has also brought out to us about the inequalities and that how they have grown. I hope that this message also stays, sustains us as we plan for the future.